Yeah, this is the one that's active, so we're totally fine. Let's see, decimal to binary. We'll do a nice easy one. Did you break your streak? Did you break your streak? Taunting you. All right, so let's see. 10 out of 10. Nice job. Who's Dean? Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. I get it. Good job, everybody. That's good. Okay, so get your score. Again, your score is in the lower right-hand corner, right? Your score is in the lower right-hand corner. Get your score. Okay. Now it is this one. It is the decimal to binary. If you already put a score in, just re-enter, overtype it. Okay, so you're entering your score. You put it in the text entry box. Okay. Whatever it is, and then submit it. Yay! Everyone got it? Every question was answered correctly. Good job, okay? All right. So we want to review the OSI model. Okay, so let's review the OSI model. So who can give me the 7 layers of the OSI model? Shay, let's hear it. Physical. Does everybody have that? Okay, what about the TCP IP model? Who can give me the TCP IP model? Noemi.
Application, transport, internet, and
Exactly. Okay. What 3 layers of the OSI model match up to the application layer of the TCP IP model? Nick. Which one? Yes, which is the what? Exactly, exactly, exactly. Okay, let's see. What are the 5 PDUs? Sean. Exactly, don't send pets for beer. Okay, so what layers is the data PDU represented of? Justin. The data PDU. What layers is represented by the OSI model for the PDU of data? The top 3? Sean, what have you got? APS, which is? Which is? Exactly. So the data, PDU, that's what is the application presentation and session, right? Okay, John, the segment. What layer of the OSI model does the segment represent? The transport layer. The transport layer. Let's see, what's next? A packet. Mujinga, what layer of the OSI model is the packet at? So the 5 PDUs is data, segment, packet, frame, bits. Did I get them all? Okay, so then the packets line up with a layer of the OSI model. Do you know which layer it lines up with? Which one? Not the data link layer. Ezekiel. Yeah, the network layer. So packets line up with the network layer. Okay. Tony, what layer is the frame at? So the PDU, the frame, what layer is that at? Well, so bits are the next PDU, right? So it's data, segment, frames, packets, bits. And the frame lines up with what layer of the OSI model? Data link. The data link. The data link. Okay, so that just leaves bits. Geraldine? So we have a PDU of bits. What layer does it line up with? Physical layer, the physical layer, right? So everybody got that? So we've got the application layer, the presentation layer, and the session layer. Now this all represents what PDU? The data. Then I've got what layer is next? Transport. Okay, so remember this stuff all gets bundled up and passed down, right? So here's my data. It's been bundled up and it's been passed down. And now something's going to happen to it right here. It's going to get what? Encapsulated. So it gets wrapped up. And what does it pick up? Well, it's going to become a segment. But what is it? Ports, right? It picks up ports. And once it has the ports, we call it a segment. Okay? Now I go to the network layer. Okay? Now all of this gets passed down, right? So now I've got the ports. I've got the data, right? This has been wrapped up. Now what happens to it again? It gets encapsulated again. And what does it pick up at the network layer, Nick? It picks up a source and destination what? IP. It picks up a source and destination IP address. And what is it called when it's at the network layer? What's the PDU? Packet. So now it's a packet, right? Once it's picked up all this extra stuff, now we call it a packet. Okay, now all this stuff gets wrapped up and pushed down to what layer? The data link layer. Okay, so now at the data link layer, all of this gets what happens to it? It gets encapsulated, and now what does it pick up? It picks up MAC addresses. It picks up a bunch of stuff, but it primarily picks up MAC addresses. Now that it's got all this stuff on it, what do I call it? A frame. A frame. Okay? Now, I get pushed down to the what? I get pushed down to the physical layer. Now, for the most part, we're pretty much done encapsulating it, right? It doesn't need to be re-encapsulated. However, something still needs to happen to it to actually get on the media. What needs to happen to it for it to get put on the media? Encoding. Encoding. Because really what this is all ones and zeros, right? And along with encoding, something else happens. Signaling, okay? So now it can move across the media in whatever format it's supposed to be, right? Okay, then it gets over here, and it gets what? Decoded. Then we start de-encapsulating it, right? We peel off the layers as we push it back up the OSI model. Now, we could explain the exact same thing using the TCP/IP model. It doesn't matter, it's just that it would be a little bit different. But the process is exactly the same, okay? The process is exactly the same. All right. We are going to do another little review exercise. And do a little bit harder one. So let's see how we do on this.
Your screen showing the
Thank you. I went through all that trouble to erase it, and here, actually, let's lift it a little too to make it a little easier.
Gotta show what's up. That's a good beat.
Wow, look at that. The network layer. Everyone got that right. Good job. Ooh, that's a little tougher. So this was touched on a little bit in Module 3, and then we're going to dig deeper into it in Module 6, 7.
What I thought it was, my answer's not up there. Oh, I got it right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
That was up and I got it.
Again, you had to really read carefully to pick this one up, but we're going to dig much deeper into this when we talk about the transport layer, okay? So, see, the ports help flow control. So the transport layer, okay? Now, interestingly enough, so let's talk about it in terms of another too. So for the data link layer, what do we have to control putting it on the media, right? So sometimes that can be confusing too. You have to pay attention to the wording. If it says control putting it on the media, that would be what layer? The data link layer, right? Because what layer puts stuff on the media? The layer above it, which is the data link layer, right? So if it's asking about controlling putting something on the media versus flow control, right? So you have to break these down a little bit. That's why we're looking at it. The ports, right? Remember, it's the only layer that gives you a clue, the transport layer.
My answer's not up there, never mind.
Cisco Discovery Protocol. Yes, you should. Okay, now see?
Cisco media control? Is that the data or network?
So again, the media is what layer? The physical layer. Media is on the physical layer. So what layer would control putting the data onto the media? The one above it, which is the data link layer. Good job.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the application, right? Like think about an app on your phone. We're interacting with the application layer, like a browser. A switch functioning to direct traffic to other networks. Ah, okay. So you have to think about, where does a switch work? What layer does a switch work at? Layer 2. Whoa, what happened there? So the switch functions at layer 2. It's moving frames. Which device functions at layer 3, the network layer? A router, right? A router. Can you activate this one, Marcus? The OSI model? Ooh, you got to think about this one.
Direct graphic visual images.
Yeah, so yeah, so if you're looking, right, or you're listening to something, it's how it's being presented. Right? It's how it's being presented. Last one. Ooh, this one's tougher. So we can kind of eliminate application, because that would be me interacting with something, right? And you can probably even eliminate presentation. So now you got to break it down between transport and session. Look at that. Good job. That was a good guess. Yeah. So we're going to talk about dialogues and connections a little bit later and how the session layer and the transport layer works together. How the session layer and the transport layer works together. Wow, 9 out of 11. That's awesome. That's really good, especially because this was a little harder because you had to really be able to pick out some of those details in Module 3 to get these. Good job. Okay. So again, just refresh your screen. Was it in there, Marcus?
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. So it's this one, Kahoot OSI model, TCP/IP model. Just enter your score in there. I want pizza. Okay, so let's see. It is 7:18. Let's take a break and come back at 7:30, and then we're going to talk about lab. We're going to talk about starting labs, okay? 7:30. 7:30. Huh? Oh, wait a second. 7:30. That's too long. 7:25. 7:25. That is long. 7:25. 7:25. 7:25. I was wrong. You'll be turning that in. Yeah, you'll be turning this in. We should finish it today. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is some terminology. In-band versus out-of-band. So does anybody know what in-band versus out-of-band is? Okay. Okay. So what we do in here is we build little networks. We use that equipment to build a switch and a router, connect them together, and then connect them to a host. So we build a little network. So if you look at your diagram, we'll connect a PC to a switch, to a router. This is just one example. And then these devices become their own little network, okay? And that will be considered in-band. They can talk to each other, they can work with each other. They're an in-band network. They're related to each other, okay? So that, for almost every lab we do, our game plan is to build a little network, okay? Now, we also need to manage that network. We need to give the router commands, we need to give the switch commands, we need to tell it what to do, we need to get information from it. Well, to do that, we will use a console connection. Because remember, what was the console for? The console cable? So that we could get in. We're not really remoting in, we're just getting in, right? We're getting in. Now, this device, because it's not inside the little network, it's called an out-of-band connection. So a console is an out-of-band connection. And I use it to configure and manage devices. That's the only reason we use an out-of-band console connection. That's the only reason, okay? So this device is outside of the network. A console connection is needed to do any initial configuration on network devices. The Cisco labs you do will tell you to console in. It will not always show you a console device, okay? It will just say console in. Now, if it says console in, that means you need a what? You need a console PC, right? We've already got it cabled. Okay, so when you see this, how many PCs are you going to need to do this lab? You need 2. You need 1 to do the consoling in and managing, and you need the other one that's part of your little network. So let's say in this scenario, this would be Justin's console, so he's going to do all of his work from here. And then this one is the one he would use to create his little network. This would become PC1. So PC1 is what would be connected back there off the patch panel, right? And this is R1 number 6. And then you'd connect it to a switch, and then you'd connect that switch to a router, and then you'd come back here and you'd manage it. Okay, you'd come back here and manage it. Now, in the real world, you probably wouldn't be sitting right next to the little in-band network you created. You'd be somewhere else, so you just got to keep that in mind, okay? All right. So we already have everything consoled for you. So every one of these computers can be used as a console or as a host device, every one of them, because we have everything wired through the floor. Okay? All right. The console and configure devices, you need to connect a PC as a console terminal, which is your out-of-band. To use your PC to communicate on a network, you need to connect a PC as the workstation. That's the in-band or the end device. To connect your PC as a console PC or workstation, you first move the black cable from the black jack to the red jack. So when we're ready, we'll do that so that we can get back there. So right now, what we're going to do is Marcus and I are going to just take you back. Okay, and I just want to look at these pods. I want you to each identify a switch, look at its characteristics, look at a router, look at its characteristics. Okay, take notice of your device IDs. Okay, so like what number is your host device here, John? Number 4. Okay, so when you go back there, I want you to look for your port on the patch panel, okay? So I'm going to take this group, all right? Marcus, will you take this group? Okay, and again, we're just gonna all go back there. I'll take the odd side. You take the even side, and we're just gonna open these doors and just look. We're just gonna look and identify, okay? Everyone, let's go. Actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a lot more on this side.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, it just looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's just an optical illusion. There's 5 here and 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I can't count. Justin, you come with us.
I was like,
It's a mind illusion, not an optical illusion. I'm taking the odds, you take the evens. All right. So come on in. Come on in. So first of all, just look up at the top, okay? Sean and Tony, okay? So first just look up at the top. Okay, notice on each you have rack 1, rack 3, rack 5, and then what else is up there? Right, which is actually our network address. So each of these devices, each of these racks have like an address, okay? And we are gonna need, you will always need that address for your labs. All right, so go ahead and open the door. Tony, open number 1, Sean, open number 3. All right. So then just take a look here. Now notice this says never change these cables. These blue cables are extremely expensive, the ports that they plug into, and they break easily. So we just don't want people pulling them in and out. It breaks them and we can't afford to replace them, okay? These are called serial cables and they represent a WAN. Now even though they're right next to each other, one way you might want to think of this is like this router might be in Phoenix. This router might be in Pennsylvania. This router might be in New Jersey. They're WANs. They represent wide area network. It just happens we're right next to each other, okay? Now, if you count the number of ports, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 ports on this router. But if you look at this switch, right? Switches have tons of ports. Now this is actually a 24 port switch. We have them as big as 58, 48, 128. You can have huge switches, okay? Now another really important thing to notice, and what we're gonna need next week, is this ID number. Every device has something called a port ID or a device ID number. 2021, 2022, so you'll always need these for your labs as well. And we'll go over that again. Next, kind of in the middle, and you'll see your patch panel, right? You're gonna see a patch panel. Okay, so John, what number was yours? 4. Now you were on rack 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were down there, it would be this guy, number 4, right?
We could also connect to 1.
So you can connect to 1 and 4 over there, right? And so, Sean, which one can you connect to? 2, so you were row 2, 2 and 5. Row 2 connects to rack 2 and rack 5. Okay?
Talking about the dash.
Yeah.
2 dash.
Oh, are you talking about, your PC is number 4. Yeah.
On rack 2.
Okay, so rack 2's over there, but you can also connect to rack 5. So you would be this guy right there, number 4, okay? And then who remembers what the little green cables are? Yes, say it louder. What did you say?
Oh, no, it's a console.
Console. So everyone look at the green cables, find a little green cable. Let me see, this one might have a little blue one. Oh, these are the blue ones. You have the dark, dark blue. It's kind of like a bluish green. Can you show him that one, Nick, over there? So like a dark, dark bluish green color, okay? All right, and then what do we call this? Right, and if I'm looking at all 6 of them, what do we call it? A pod, okay? And this one? A pod. Now this, if you look here, see how this one's wider? That's 2 rack units, 2 RUs. What's this one? 1 RU, so it's a 1 rack unit, okay? The other thing you just need to know is over there is where the cables are. So when we're ready to cable stuff next week, we'll direct you to the cables. Okay? So that's it. So what questions do you have about our equipment?
So, okay, this is because of the last class. I had to connect over on that side.
Uh-huh.
So, me and him are going to be connecting over on
You can connect, so you're on row 2. So you can either connect to rack 2 or rack 5. Your row connects to 2 or 5. And that's what your red jacks will tell you. If you look at the red jacks, it'll say R2 or R5. That means you can connect to 2 or 5. So every row can connect to one rack on this side or over there. Not both, one or the other. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, good. Good, good. All right, let's head back.
What is that?
That's our administration.
Looks like there's like a.
There is. That's how I control things over here. Okay? We're going to learn about that. A switch moves frames and a router moves packets. Switch moves frames.
1 week at a time.
A switch moves frames and a router moves packets. Okay? All right. Let's head back.
It would be the one down there. We couldn't see it. Yeah. Thank you.
She's up there. He's not there.
Wait till they come back.
This is specified to you. There's only one cable per computer in there.
Because this is a red cable, so we're not connecting to red cable. Oh, it's red, so it's next to the black one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is
Oh,
red.
no, I'm just giving an example.
It'll count like once you hook up your computer to the cable.
Just a question.
Yes. You have to have a console PC because there's no way to get into a device without a console connection.
Why can't you use like virtual on the second monitor at the.
Until you've set up the initial configurations, it can't do that. It's a security measure. Yep, you have to do all your initial settings with a console connection. Okay?
I have a question you might not know. How, if you're, when you're getting financial aid, is it, you can still switch your major, right?
Yes. I'm pretty sure. I guess I don't know that answer for sure, but yeah.
It kind of depends on what your major was. Like I was doing financial aid for engineering, and that kind of fell through, and so then I decided to go to cybersecurity. And right now I lost my financial aid because they're like, hey, yo, it's not the same rehab.
Yeah, but that's weird because you have up to like 12 semesters to get financial aid, so you still have time to, that's weird.
Can you redeclare a major and get it again? I would talk to them about that. I think you could redeclare a major and you'll re-qualify for financial aid. So the short answer is you should talk to a financial aid person.
I'm thinking about, I'm doing cybersecurity now, but I think I'm liking this more.
Yeah, so my advice always is to actually get your degree in network and systems administration and then add the cybersecurity piece to it, because more people get jobs in networking than they do in cybersecurity as an entry-level person, because there's so few entry-level cybersecurity jobs. So, and they work together. It's not, I mean, they're not separate from each other. They work together. Okay,
And I took,
what?
I'm just curious, so, cybersecurity,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing I'm doing. Okay. My question is, would that link with what you, like, networking?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when you get a cybersecurity degree, you can choose a networking path, a Red Hat path. When you choose network and system administration, you can choose a Cisco path, a cyber path, a Microsoft path. Like, there's one degree, and then you choose your specialization. So like in cybersecurity, you can do the same thing.
Yeah, before you talk, like, what will you do?
Before what?
Before you actually be teaching here,
Uh-huh.
what will you do?
I worked as a network administrator. I did networking.
And
Yeah.
how was that like?
It was good. It was good. It's a demanding job. It's a very,
I'm just curious, like, I'm just asking.
well, it's going to depend on it depends where you work, okay? Like a contract job's harder if you work for a big company versus a small company. If you manage employees, if you don't manage employees, if you're on call, if you're not on call, you know, and it could be a million things. Okay, a million things, right? So, very high stress.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, huh?
Just networking in general?
Like,
Well, I mean, if you let a network go down, you're going to lose your $160,000 a year job.
What's she saying?
But that's why they're paying you that, so you can.
Right, 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 right.
They can't have that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Megan.
yeah. Yeah, we need to move on, okay? We got to get through this. We have to, and I'm happy to stay after and answer all these questions, but we got to move on. Okay. So here's the next thing I want us to do is I want everybody to pull up the command prompt. Okay, I want you to pull up the command prompt. And I want you to do an IP config. Okay, I want you to do an IP config. Okay. And what address do you have for your IPv4 address? What have you got, Justin?
10.204.68.104.
Shay, what do you have?
10.204.68.
Okay. Sean, what do you have?
10.204.68.
Okay, so do we all have a 10 address?
Yep.
Okay, that's because we're all on the same network with GCC, right? We're all on the same network. Okay, so whenever we do a lab, we actually have to come off of the GCC network, and we have to go onto the Cisco network. Now, when we move off of the GCC network, we're going to lose internet access, okay? Because we're no longer going to be part of the internet. We're not going to be on GCC, okay? So when you're doing labs, you have to make sure that you have your lab on your console. Whatever device you're using as your console, you want to make sure you have your lab already up, otherwise you won't necessarily have access to it. So what we're going to do next, okay, is we're going to take the black cable out of the black jack and put it in the red one. And for everyone here, put it into R1, rack 1, okay? For everybody here, move it over to rack 3. No, 5. Rack 5. Because remember, this row can go to 2 or 5. Okay, and over here, you're going to put yours in 3. in 3. Okay, so the third row in 3, the second row in 5, okay, the first row in 1. Now let's just give it a minute. Okay, so since all of us did it at the same time, who can tell me what these devices are doing right now? Do you know? Right. They're chatting, they're switching networks. So they're trying to get back there, and they're trying to get an address. Now, what kind of an address do you think they're going to get? What is it going to start with? No. A 172, right? Because isn't all of those a 172? It's going to get a 172, okay? We're going to get a 172. All right, so let's just see what happens. Let's do our IP config again. Oh, I need to move mine over. Okay. So do an IP config again. So what address do you have now, Justin?
172.16.0.157.
Perfect. Noemi?
172.16.0.140.
Awesome. Mujinga? Okay. Shay?
172.16.
Good. So does everybody have a 172 address? Awesome. That's because we moved. We moved back there. So now we actually can start doing stuff back there, okay? So let's just see where we're at in the lab. Let's see where we're at in the lab. So move the black PC cable from the black jack to the red jack. So we did that. Okay, in this instance, so now we've actually allowed this device to become a console. Okay, so we could start to get into the devices and manage them and do stuff to them, okay? Let's see here, command prompt from your workstation, type the command, enter in, okay, and do an IP config. Okay, so now, what address do we have now? So go ahead and put that in there, put in your address, your subnet mask, and your default gateway.
For the default gateway, do we put this FE80::1% or just the 172 part?
So yeah, so if you look right here, right, it's got, so IPv4 address, 172.16, subnet mask, 255.255.0.0, default gateway, 172.16.0.90.
Mine just shows like something else. It has the 172, but it shows like the FE80.
Oh, yeah, just ignore that FE80. That is weird. I mean, I know why it has it there, but we're interested in the 172 network. Okay. So we're going to skip a little bit of this. We're going to do something a little bit different. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to just show you how this functions as a console device, okay? We're just going to show you how this functions as a console device. So remember, when it's a console, that lets us get into those devices so that we can give them some commands, okay? So what I want you to do is just go ahead and click on TerraTerm and open up TerraTerm. And don't move after that, just sit there. Okay. Now TerraTerm, you're going to read about TerraTerm in Module 2. So this is all in preparation for Module 2. Terraterm is a terminal emulation program, software that we can use to get into the devices, okay? That we can use to get into the devices. Okay, so for row 1, you're all plugged into what rack? Rack 1. And what was the network for rack 1? What's the whole thing? 172.16.0.10. Okay, dot 10. So here's what I want you to do. Just take this out and enter in the network address. Okay? Don't hit enter, just put that information in there and then sit tight, okay? Now, how about over here? Which rack did I tell you guys to all go into? 5. Okay, so what's your network?
172.16.0.151.
No, for rack 5, what is it? Rack 5, so you're all plugged into rack 5 right now.
So that'll be 172.16.0.155?
55?
No, that's our IP.
Okay, don't look at your IP address. Back there, these racks all have their own network address at the top.
You guys are 172.16.0.15.
Can you remind me how we got that number?
Okay, so look here at your red jacks. And you have an R what and an R what?
R2 and R5.
Okay, so you have an R2 and R5. That means that you can connect to rack 2 or rack 5. Every rack has their own address. And you can see that up at the top corner, the top left-hand corner. Okay, now, all of the addresses start the same, 172.16.0, and then depending upon the rack, it's, if you're on row 1, rack 1, it's a dot.
10.
If you are on a row 2, rack 2, it's a 20. If you're on a row 2, rack 3, oh, a rack 5, sorry,
So
you're
50.
50, okay? And Ezekiel, you're a what? Well, but you're plugged into 3.
So 30.
30. So remember, the rack that you're in lines up with either 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60. Okay, so now, for row 2, you went into rack 5. So you are going to do 172.16.0.50. Ezekiel, you're going to do 172.16.0.30. Okay, so listen, this is like giving the console driving directions. You're telling the console where it needs to go to find the devices that you are managing, okay? Now, do you remember I said that each of those devices had a device ID on them? Right, 2033, 2034, 2018. Okay? Yes, on the left. Marcus might not have pointed that out, okay? We need to tell the console how to get into the device that we want to manage. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm going to go into 172.16.0.10, and I know what the device ID is back there, so I want to go into 2033, okay? Don't type anything. Don't type anything. Let me hit OK. Okay. There we go. So now, Mujinga, you're going to go into 2034. So type it in, 2034. You're going to go into 2035. You're going to go into 2036, 2037, and 2038. Let me show you. You find them on the device. I'm going to show you through the window. They're little numbers. Okay? Every device has its own number. Okay, so again, remember, we're telling the console, go to 172.16.010, and find what?
2036.
Is that what I said, 2036? And find 2036. Okay? Now, you, Shay, are going to go into 172.16.050, right? 2033. 2034. 2035. 2036. Okay? Ezekiel, you're going to go into 2018.
It's dot 2018.
It's just space 2018. Space. Space, yeah, so it's a space,
Yeah, rack number, space, 4-digit number,
2034.
okay? Okay, so,
35 on 34.
so
33. Okay.
you tell it what network, you tell it what network, space. Then you enter in the device ID. Then you enter in the device ID, okay? Nope, space. It might work with a dot, but I doubt it. Okay, space 2033, or whatever ID I gave you. Okay. I don't know. Whatever I told you, I don't remember.
Because you're 36, right?
Okay. Now, all of you should either see the word router or switch.
Do you have to change anything else in the settings?
No.
Just want to make sure.
Okay.
I haven't.
You probably tried to get in somebody else's. What did you go into?
2035.
Okay, so just hang tight. Okay, so hold on.
Everybody, let's just listen to Andre for a second.
You should have the word router or switch. Okay, or if you are following a bad person, it might say password. That means the person that worked on this before me did not clear their devices and they've locked us out. Okay, so if you have router, raise your hand.
Mine says S1-TN.
That's a bad person who did not clear TN. Can you write that down? You're on
36.
2036, rack 10, rack 1.
I'm not sure if it's the same thing because it's R1 pound.
Same thing, somebody didn't clear their devices.
2030 what?
36.
2036.
Okay, now you might have something like, would you like to,
No, mine is 2035.
okay, does anybody have something that says, would you like to do something? So type no. Just type no. So like Mujinga has that.
I have connection reviews, so I can
Okay, so then you've got a problem, just hang tight.
I got connector reviews also.
Okay, so if you have connection refused, hang tight. What did you get? All of you have connection refused?
Yeah, 4 reviews.
Yeah.
I got switch.
You got switch, okay. Just hang on, just hang on. They're probably in,
Do you want me to instruct how to clear your device?
no. Not yet. Oh, I know why. I know why. Okay. So you're in, Shay? Okay. I know why. Okay, so here, pull up another Terra term. Okay, enter 2020.
Okay.
I think I gave you the wrong ports. There we go.
There it goes.
Okay, 2021. Okay, and then 2022.
No.
It didn't connect?
Okay, open another Terra term. So you're in, right, Geraldine?
Yeah. You gave me 2020.
Try, hold on, let me go look and make sure I'm getting the right
Might be
IDs.
someone that is
Hold on. Try 2025. Hold on, Tony. And Tony, try 2027. I'm going to get one for you next. Okay. Okay, hit enter. Ezekiel, try 2042. Okay, you are all in, right? Okay. Okay, that means somebody bad before you did not clear their devices. That is the naughty board. That is the naughty board. If the guy with the laptop did what? So that's fine, it's bad, but it just means that people did not clear their devices,
Oh,
okay?
Gotcha. So my
Okay.
2042.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
no, just don't do anything. Okay, so if you have, so is everybody in a device right now? Let's see. Yes, perfect. Perfect. So everyone's in a device. Hit enter a couple times. Okay. Okay, so now you're actually in the device back there, okay? You're in the device back there. Now, ideally, we want to just see the word router, or we just want to see the word switch. If you see password, if you see S1 or R1, what that means is that the person that used that device before you did not clear the device, okay? We don't want to do that because it just messes up and it takes a lot of time. So here's what we're going to do, okay? So if you have S1 or R1, I want you to just go ahead and I want you to type EN, and actually you can do this no matter what, it won't hurt anything. Yep, and then hit enter. Okay, so now I want you to type, let's see, do delete, delete, and then VLAN, period, DAT. Okay, and then hit enter. Now it may do nothing, so don't worry about that, because if there's no VLAN in there, it's going to ask you VLAN.dat, question mark, hit enter, confirm, hit enter, and it might say error deleting. That's okay, that just means there was no bad thing in there, so it's fine. Okay, so we're all here, right? Hit enter. Okay, here's our next command. Erase space, and then start up, all one word, start up, hyphen, config. Ezekiel, does yours have a password on it? Can you see if you can get Ezekiel in? Okay, so after we have erase startup config, just hit enter. Now see how it says confirm? Hit enter. Might take a minute. Okay, give it, now see it's giving us some messages. And then type reload, all one word, reload. So this is the process that you do at the end of every lab to just put the devices back to the basics, back to the default. So you type reload and hit enter. Again, it's going to say confirm this. I'm going to hit enter. Okay.
It says system save, question mark.
No, type no. Okay. Now it's just going to start scrolling and doing some stuff. So just, now this reload process takes a few minutes. It's just going to sit there for a while. What it's doing is it's looking for the default file because it wants to get rid of whatever the last person did, and it wants to put the default configuration in there, okay? So you can hit the enter every now and then. And ideally, here's what we want to see. We want to see all these hashtags.
I'm getting like at signs.
You're getting what? Oh, okay, yeah. If it router will do one thing, switch does another. That's all. You might get at signs. So it's just reloading. It's looking for the default. It's going to reload the default, okay? So if this ever happens and you come in, my advice is you reload all your devices. Do an erase startup config and reload. Because if you do a lab on top of someone else's lab, your lab may not work, okay? And if there's initials on there, just give them to us. We'll notify them. We'll just let them know they left their commands on there. They don't get in trouble. We just tell them. So here's one. See, it had a password on it. So I'm going to delete the V. And actually, the delete VLAN.dat's really for switches, but it doesn't hurt to do it. Okay. All right. So once our devices are done reloading, you should just get the word router or the word switch.
It's gonna ask for initial configuration.
I didn't.
Whenever it prompts you for, would you like to go into initial configuration? Say no.
No.
Say no. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go through a list of very annoying questions. What IP address do you want? What's your favorite color? What's your uncle's name?
Like here, so see it's asking me, do I want to enter the initial configuration? I just say no. Would you like to terminate auto install? Yes.
Yeah, to erase it. So for example, come into a lab, we run into this issue where someone saw us, like, I know she uses the commands,
Yeah.
but is there a document?
Yes.
Get through the passwords.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let us know. To see if we can clear it or if we can erase the device. We
Okay.
have to decide.
So type no.
Just say no.
Yeah, just say no.
Come in and
What
like
did you
start doing this?
It's asking you if you want to change anything to the dialogue, and we don't want to do that,
Erase our
right? And then, would you like to terminate? So here we say yes, terminate auto install. Otherwise, that's where it asks you all these annoying questions.
Delete VLAN dot.
Okay, all right,
Is there, but is there?
there
some
we go.
document that we have it listed?
So do we all have router or switch?
Like how to erase device document.
Okay, good.
We still have, let me check.
I have R1,
Pretty
is
sure
that
we
okay?
still got it.
Nope, needs to say router or switch. Did you do the erase startup config? Do it again.
I have, would you like to initiate configuration title?
Say no. Would you like to terminate auto install? Say yes.
This is what I did right here. Where can I stay here?
Hit enter,
Okay.
enable, EN, and do the erase startup config. Hyphen config. Enter, enter. Did you hit enter? Hit it again? Okay. Okay, now type reload and confirm. Okay, and then give it a minute. It takes a little bit. Okay. So again, I just want you to already see the annoyance when you don't clear your devices that it creates for other students. So we always really want to try to avoid that if we can. I know that it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you'll forget. We'll always try to remind you, especially in the beginning when we're new. Like these are probably brand new students that left their configurations on there, just forgot, right? But we'll always try to remind you. So let's just do a little command, okay? So let's just do a little command. And this is what you're going to be reading about in Module 2. So I want you to type the word enable. I want you to type the word enable, okay?
So is this program case sensitive?
Yes, some of it is, some of it isn't.
When we're giving specific commands.
When you're giving the actual command, it is. Or when you're putting in a parameter, it's case sensitive. I'll show you. I'll show you. Okay? So you should see that it went from a greater than sign to a what? Hashtag. So this is, we're moving from one mode to another. We just moved from user mode to privileged mode. So when you just see the greater than sign, you're just a regular user. You don't have any privileges. Once you go to the hashtag, that means you're a privileged user and you can do a few things. So as an example, let's type the word show, and then let's look at version, show version. And this will tell us the version of the software operating system. See, we can see Cisco iOS, software 1841, this is CIS 41, and then version 12.4. So this is giving us a bunch of information about the operating system for this device. Now, if you look at the bottom, it says more. It says more. Whenever you see the more, that means you need to hit the space bar. There's more information. Hit the space bar. Okay? Now, the other thing it's going to tell me is it's going to tell me a little bit about this device. So I'm on a Cisco 1841. It tells me how many bytes of memory it has, but it also tells me how many ports. So this has 2 fast Ethernet interfaces, 2 low-speed serial interfaces, and a virtual private network interface. So based on the number of ports, is this a router or a switch? It's probably a router because there's not very many ports, right? So who's on a switch? So what does your port say?
24 fast Ethernet interfaces.
Okay. And anything else?
2 gigabit Ethernet
Okay.
interfaces. 1 virtual Ethernet interface.
Okay, so everyone look at your ports and just make notice of what your ports are. Thank you. Okay. Now, we're going to give this a name. Something you always will have to do is give your devices a unique name. What's so funny? You can give a T-Rex. Okay, now, when you're doing labs, you're going to use your initials. So let me show you. Now, I'm just going to name my router main, like the main office. Okay? So I'm going to go into a new mode. I'm going to type configure terminal. Configure terminal. Okay. Now what do we notice? What changed?
We're in a config like folder or something.
Yeah, so it tells you that you're in config mode. Okay? And it's in parentheses, right? So you can think about this. When you see that, that means you're affecting the whole device. It's global mode. This is called global configuration mode. So we're globally affecting the device. Okay? Now I'm going to give it a unique name. So I'm going to type in host name. Host name. Space. So this is the command. I'm going to create a host name. Okay, now I'm going to say main, M-A-I-N. This is case sensitive, okay? And then I'm going to put a hyphen, and this is where you need to put your initials. Okay, you're going to put your initials. Okay, and then let's hit enter. And what do we notice?
Change some switch.
Yeah, so we can see what this is, right? So we've named it now. We've named it. We've named it. Now the labs will tell you what to name it. Name it S1, name it S2, name it R1. You'll always use your initials as well, okay? You'll always use your initials as well. All right. Now, let's see. Let's do one more thing. Let's do this command, service password encryption. Service space password hyphen encryption. This is a command you'll learn about in Module 2. Okay. What this tells the device is that if someone enters passwords going forward, encrypt them. Okay. Now, something to keep in mind is in this lab, we will always use the password Cisco, all little letters, or class, all little letters. I get that it's not secure, but we're not trying to be secure. We're trying to teach you how to use the devices, and we don't want to get locked out of them. Okay, so for those of you that had a password, we were probably able to use Cisco or class and get in there. All right, so that's a little bit about the console connection. So you can see how you can get back there to control it. Okay, now next week we'll connect up 2 switches. We'll be connecting 2 switches together. We'll be learning some information about the switches. We'll be setting up IP addresses. I think, again, we might do this on, I think we'll do it on Wednesday. I don't know. We're either going to do it Monday or Wednesday. I can't decide. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Let's get out of here. So what do we want to do at this point? So let's type exit, and exit takes us back 1 mode. The word exit will take you back 1 mode to what mode?
To the regular user.
Well, if you have the hashtag,
Takes you out of config.
it takes you out of config and it puts you in
Privileged.
privileged mode. Now from here, we want to just erase our startup config. We want to get rid of what we've done. Okay, so now we're going to do erase startup config. Hit enter. It's going to ask you if you want to confirm. We're going to confirm. Okay, now it says that it's complete, and then just type reload. Has been modified, save it. Nope, I don't want to save this. I want to go back to the default. Confirm, yes, we're going to confirm. And again, we're going to start to see all that scrolling, okay? We're going to see all that scrolling. Okay. Reload. So did you do the erase startup config? Okay. And then we're just going to let it reload. It's going to take probably a couple minutes. And what are we going to see when it's done reloading? Right, it'll revert back and it'll say switch, or it'll say router. That's how we'll know that we're back to where we belong, because the host name will be gone because we will have gotten rid of what we did to it. Okay, so here mine's starting to work. It's going back to get the default configuration. Okay. Mine says, okay, see, it was pretty quick. Okay. Once you see the router or the switch again, just pop your hand up so I know where we're at. Are you taking a Red Hat class?
I took it last semester.
I'm not a Linux fan.
Me neither. I took it last semester and I hated it.
Yeah,
Move files from this folder to this file, and you're just like, commit on the file attachment.
yeah.
I like it, I just don't like reload.
For cybersecurity.
Command reload.
Some people like it, some people don't. They just
Reload and say no to the save.
Yes, I prefer to use one enter, instead of reload, I go, well, yeah.
Yeah, and then you do Excel.
No, it's literally, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I took that
So
class last
I'm back here. Is everybody back to their router or their switch? Everyone's back to their router or their switch? So when you're back there, now let's just get out. Let's just type exit. Okay, just type exit. And then let me show you the right way to get out of TerraTerm. Don't just go and X this, okay? The right way is to go File, Disconnect. Okay. That's the right way to get out of it so that you don't hold open your TCP connection. Exit, File, Disconnect. If you think of TerraTerm almost like a phone call, right? So you're just you're disconnecting it, okay? All right. So we learned a lot. Let me look at this one more time. All right, so here's what I want you to do. So based on everything we've talked about, just answer these two questions. In your own words, what's the difference in the function between a PC1, like if we were to set up a little in-band network, and then what we just now did with a console? Okay? Why can one PC not be used as both a PC on the network, an in-band connection, and an out-of-band connection? It actually can be, but we don't know how to do that yet. Okay? So I want you to do your best to answer these two questions. You're going to save this and upload it. Oh, wait. Let's move back. We got to move back to our, so now we can move back to the GCC network. So let's move back to the GCC network because we got to get on the internet.
Before you guys switch, make sure you change or close out your console connections.
Yeah, did you do the disconnect?
Yeah, make sure you exit out of the console connection.
The TerraTerm.
The territory.
You typed exit and then you did disconnect, right? Everybody did that? Okay. It's getting there. Oh, because you had to reload.
Yeah, it was a whole
Okay,
thing.
okay.
But as soon as I do that, I
Yep.
think I'll
Hit
I'll
enter.
exit. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, every now and then I just poke it. Okay, I just poke it.
You guys need to switch back from the racks to the GCC's internet. Please be sure to disconnect from your console connections. Otherwise, it will stay stuck closed.
Right.
You won't be able to get back into the device.
Yeah.
Unless you
I mean, did your router come back up?
No. Oh.
There we go.
Oh, it tricked me.
Now type no. Yeah, so you always want to do that exit and then file disconnect. That's the right way to get out of TerraTerm.
Would you like to terminate auto install? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, for
terminate it.
auto install, you just press enter.
There you go.
I hit enter.
Give it a second, it's just slow.
Ah, there we go.
You can go. Save it, upload it to the assignment. Answer those two questions. Answer those two questions, and then, so we didn't get all the way through this. That's okay, because we weren't trying to do all this stuff. We didn't build a little network. So you're going to answer these two questions, and you're turning this in tonight. Okay, you're turning this in tonight. This is your checkout. Yeah, did you answer this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, and then you're answering these two,
Reflection.
then you can go, yeah.
And whenever it's asking about which is the number in front of your computer monitor, is that saying the R2-2?
I'm gonna have to look at it
Yeah.
because they've changed. They used to have numbers on here.
Yeah.
So I don't know what where is the question?
Oh, it's at the bottom here.
What
This
is
one.
the number?
Oh, you don't have to answer those right now.
Okay, it's just reflection.
Identify the scroll up. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up.
Yeah, I answered. Used to.
Yep, that's all I need.
That's all.
I mean, you can answer the other ones for sure, Tony, but we didn't go all the way down. So these computers used to have a number here, but they don't anymore.
So we wouldn't need to use vertical. This, so we wouldn't.
You use that.
So this is not computer.
Okay, right. This is not computer. This used to be, but now we have all new computers. These are brand new computers. This has not been changed. Okay? See, you are R1, you're R2 number 1, right? So this would be R2 number 1, but these are old. Those are old. Okay?
So I don't have to do the ones at the
Nope.
way bottom.
Nope.
Not even extra credit.
You can do it for extra credit. Yeah. Let me see, what's that one question though? What is the number located on the front? So see, this one you can't answer because there's nothing here.
Oh, it's talking about like these.
Yeah, you can answer them. I'll be happy to give you extra credit. If you answer all the questions all the way down to the bottom, I'll give you extra credit. No problem.
Yeah, what's the difference between HPC and console? What are the things that you can do?
Mujinga? Yes. Oh, wait, no. Don't do that yet because I have to do the workshop. The assignment from first thing today, I opened it till 9:15, so you can finish it. Yes, so you can finish it, okay? You're welcome.
I was about to blow on the board and I realized.
No, it's okay. No, you don't have to rewrite it. I want to load it so that people know we're having a cable workshop.
Put it here just in case.
This week, yeah. That was supposed to remind me.
That's on Friday
Friday
at 1:30, right?
at 1 o'clock. Yeah, from 1, you can come anytime between 1 and 2:30. But it ends at 3, so you have to be completely done by 3. Did you come to the last one? Did you get to make a cable? Did it work? Good. You do not. I mean, it's only a 2-foot cable. Yes.
The number that's on here corresponds to the slots instead of the
For this one yesterday, I watched the video, but I didn't take the quiz.
Okay. So you can go take the quiz.
little rack with the blue ones.
And I want to tell, like, I'm working on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And you say, like, we need to come here on Friday.
There's an extra credit lab workshop if you want to come on Friday. You don't have to come Friday. There's an extra credit workshop for making a cable.
Yeah, because I'm working on Friday.
So you won't be able to come. That's okay. It's extra credit. It's not required. And we might have another one if we have time. We'll do a couple throughout the semester. But that's the first one we're having is this Friday, and then we'll try to have one another time. Okay. We'll have, Marcus, you can do a cable making workshop on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about maybe next Monday?
Yeah. I can do it.
Do you have time if we schedule it?
Yeah, well, like 3 up until 6.
Yeah, how about 3 to 4:30? I don't want somebody just, we'll do 3 to 4:30.
Why not? We can get it set up for, yeah, because Fernando's class finishes
up
Right.
here at that time. Yeah, I could totally do it.
Okay. Nope, just turning in your assignment. That's the activity. Yep. So there's no checkout. Nope, as long as you answered those questions and submit it, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm here on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. But the cabling workshop, cable maintenance workshop is Monday, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Do you want us to give you like a little heads up in our,
There is one
in our
Friday.
homework that you did the extra credit?
I'll look. I'll look. Yes. If you submitted it, you're good.
That's a very old question. That was whenever we used to have stickers in the monitors.
Are you sure you don't need it? You can keep it.
I'll bring it.
Okay, hopefully. If not, I got you.
Also, it's no longer a workshop, it's actually a work shoal.
A what? Oh. Let's see here. So we will do it, would you like to, cable making workshops. This Friday, is, let's see, the 11th. Right, you can go. If you're done and you turned in your assignment, you're good to go.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. 2:11 from 1. Ends at 3 sharp. Bye, Ezekiel. I will, you do the same.
Can I show you what I was talking about last week about the packet tracer?
You can, yeah, the second here. Monday, the 14th. Okay.
Okay, so.
Oh, that's right.
So it asks you to like plug in the USB to
Right.
this, and this is what it shows when I click on it. But this is the actual console that you have to plug it into, and there's no USB port because this is blocking it.
Can you pull up the packet tracer? Let's look at the packet tracer.
That's a very strange looking USB.
But it's a two-part test. So the first test is all about hardware, right? Monitor, PC. The second part is all about software. There's how to go into your files. What does it mean if you're in this PC to go into your hard drive?
Bye, Nick.
Does that make sense? So it teaches you everything in preparation for the test. So my degree, I selected anything that I could get away with these classes that I wanted to take, and I still go for a degree, if that makes sense.
Why are you taking IT for fall?
To get my certifications. Because my job, like, I was very lucky, and I got into IT without having my certifications. But if I ever want to move to another company,
And you want to get the most higher.
right, I want to
Are you in the VM?
Oh no.
You gotta be in the VM. It won't
Not
let you
just-
open up
it
a
makes
packet
me
tracer.
more Yeah, like my professor that taught us that class, he was saying, he's like, I've been in IT for 15 years. He's like, and I applied for Scottsdale, IT for the city of Scottsdale. He's like, I got rejected. He's like, but I had all this years of experience. He's like, and my wife was like, you need to go get tested. And he's like, but I know all the material, but you need to go get your certification. So he's like, once I got my certification, it opened, I got all these topics, I got all these interviews here, so.
When you get it up, call me back over. I'm gonna work on this cable workshop thing.
And so that's why I don't get my I had a friend that was in this school, he was in IT and he was able to really do up to date coding, but at the same time, that's because my company getting more projects, and so he got consensus,
Are you good to go? Okay. So I'm gonna schedule yours,
Monday 3 to
right, Monday from 3 to 4:30? Like, they should be here by 4, right, to be working on it, and finish by 4:30.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Because otherwise, if there's people here that need help, you're torn between too many things.
yes, I see what you're saying.
So I don't want people to just, hey, let's make a cable at 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
They need to come between,
Yeah, they need to be here between 3 and
so 3 PM to 4 PM, and I'm gonna say come, 4:30,
Yes.
geez Louise, 4:30, come no later than 4 PM to complete the cable,
yeah, because it'll
right?
take up to
Right.
minutes, if anything.
Later than 2:15 to complete the cable.
All day Friday from 11 a.m. till
Control C.
Yeah, come on Friday, I'll be here getting the boxes out, all the cable stuff.
Monday.
Yeah,
Are you, so we have one Friday and one Monday.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be here Monday, busting out the boxes full of Ethernet cable. You got it.
Okay, so let's see. So, see how, okay, learn how to make an Ethernet crossover cable and use a cable tester, right? So let me take this off of here. Okay, so Pam's gonna do this one, and you're gonna do this one.
How do we confirm their extra credit?
So there is a lab. Let's find the lab. Let me make sure that I have it in this class. I know. There's some back there. I took that because I need to make extras. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Control F.
yeah. Oh, it's just stuck. Okay, let's see, cable. There it is. So,
Yeah.
so due February 20, again, let's see here. You know what, we want to put a sign off, because see, what Pam said is that a couple people just like, and they didn't work, they didn't test right, and we need to have a little effort.
Yeah.
So let me just see here. So make an Ethernet crossover cable. Build, test an Ethernet crossover cable. Ethernet cabling, crimping tool. Crossover, build and terminate. Build to terminate. Test the cable. Cable testers repair, connect 2 PCs. Actually, that's interesting. I thought I took this working with
It
lab
is not
partner.
I remember working with Fernando a couple
Connect
days ago, and
two
he's like, why are these on here? We're
Connect-
using testers.
Yeah, we're using testers, connect two PCs using the Ethernet. Okay, let's take this off of here.
Yeah, and we'll
No,
add in.
I just want the
sign up.
tester.
Yeah.
I think it's because.
Okay.
Actually, it was Silver's class too. I remember all.
Cable tester will verify
all
which ones.
about-
Okay, so let's see, let's do, insert.
By
Okay,
the way,
yes,
for the internship, I respond to the emails.
Oh.
And I all that kind of stuff.
okay,
But there's no availability for an interview, like, or for a video call or whatever, between, Adrian.
yeah,
Surprised that they can't.
The next interview that's available for internships is next Friday.
why do you need an interview?
I don't know. It's simply stated, it's in the email, like, hey, can set up an interview if it's for your internship or whatever. I just responded to whatever she sent me.
Okay,
And that one, yeah.
I'll
If
reach,
you wanna ask her,
I
like, yeah,
will.
but- Okay.
cause I don't really know, I mean, maybe you could do the interview with me, and then
Yeah.
we'll have it done.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay,
So I was like, is the money coming from her?
yes,
That's why.
yes,
Yeah, that's why.
yeah, but again, I've already vetted you.
Yeah.
I mean, I already told her you're a done deal. Okay, doesn't matter. So here, I did the instructor sign off, so, you know, just put your info in there.
Cool.
And then they answer these questions and they upload this to the assignment. So let me,
The whole Word doc to the same.
yes,
Cool.
yeah, so, let's see. And then I noticed somebody, maybe Pam or you, have like little color-coded laminates back there. So, you know, I don't know if those are handy. Okay, let me do a save.
Sorry, go ahead, fill them in.
Well, inside the cabinets, she has some metal magnetic boards. Go open the cabinet and look on the inside of the door and you'll see
I
what I'm
know what you're talking about. Yeah, what about it?
I don't know. I'm just telling you, I think she uses those for the lab.
Huh.
I don't know, though. I don't know.
I don't know what they'd be used for.
To show the color codes.
Oh,
Go
I
look.
see. Yeah, yeah.
You got it? Okay, where's my chair? Where'd that chair go?
Are you colorblind?
No,
I was like, wait.
Okay, so it says.
Okay, let's see.
Investigate the shelf, blah, 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 tells you to put the backup router onto the rack, so I did that. Then it says, click the backup router and inspect the rear.
Okay. Now, I don't see a USB port there at all.
Yeah, see, it's supposed to be like right down here.
Oh, I bet it's on the back. Is there a way to look at the back?
That's sort of,
Right click on the device and then it'll tell you, you can do back or front. View.
There it is. Is
Yeah,
there a USB, is there a USB here?
yeah, but the thing is, how do you plug into that port? See, it just says inspect. See, it's supposed to be,
Okay, so scroll over.
this is the same
Okay, so,
thing as this. Oh,
right.
no,
No, it's different. This is the back. So, here it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there it is.
but how do you
Well, I don't know yet. Let's see. Click on
Bye, Marcus.
click backup router,
find the
inspect
power,
rear?
backup
That's what I'm doing.
instructor, find the power button and turn the router on and off. So, here, let's see. So there's the power button, okay.
Wait, it was already on.
Did anything happen? Did the light go on or off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
On the cable pegboard, choose a USB cable.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
that was the other thing. But you can't.
It's right there. Scroll down a little till it highlights.
Oh, it's over here.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Click the port connected. The ports now behind it in green. Connect other ends. Ports. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, it takes a, and this is a new, this is all new. Like that whole physical version that it's showing us, that layout, that's a new. Like a year ago, we didn't have that. We couldn't see all that stuff and they didn't have a